My name is Corina Hilbert, and I am a third-year student at the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City. I entered design because I was drawn to the puzzle of it. I grew up immersed in fine arts, but as I grew older, I increasingly wanted to apply my creative skills to a problem. Design gave me a challenge to invent around constraints rather than just from my imagination. I relished the push and pull of a design project, the juggling act performed to meet all the requirements and components to make a finished product that's beautiful and functional. More importantly, design gave me an avenue to make the world a better place. Growing up surrounded by the dense architecture of New York's urban environment, I witnessed firsthand the power of the places we grew up in, work at, and live in. I believe we can craft the places we spend time in to push us towards a better future and to enrich people's lives. The project I submitted to Gensler is one such project, a headquarters for the nonprofit organization Oceana. Oceana is the largest nonprofit organization dedicated solely to ocean conservation in the world, and this new building is intended as a foothold for them in New York City. Containing offices, public spaces, a lecture hall, study areas, and meeting rooms, I crafted it to push forward Oceana's message in every facet of its design. I began by thinking about Oceana and the work that they do. Oceana is, at its core, a change maker. They pursue local legislation and activism to achieve measurable change. As I considered this, I began to think about currents, or the patterns of movement in the ocean. Currents are the ocean's agent of change, affecting weather, land masses, and food supplies. I looked at NASA recordings of currents and explored models of how they moved in 3D. I translated these inspirations into conceptual models, where I tried to capture a sense of movement, of this rushing force of water. Working off this concept, I pulled in the constraints of my project. I imposed my currents into the existing structure, ensuring to keep the dimensionality in section as well as plan. I molded these currents into the main spaces and circulation. I had to play with shape and scale, pushing them to functionality without losing their power. In my final design, the currents are represented as glass shapes that undulate throughout the structure, erupting through floors and walls, as well as spilling outside to affect the site. On the first floor, they form public spaces. As the visitors enter, they must confront one of these metaphorical currents immediately in the form of the main stair. And farther along, the gift shop, where the glass curves of their heads in a wave, filtering the sunlight into a blue glow to put them underwater. Throughout the upstairs levels, people must walk through these currents to go to work or visit any of the other program. The execution of them shifts depending on the purpose. For circulation, one becomes an overhang to direct traffic. For the library, a glass enclosing bubble. Users of the headquarters will spend their days surrounded by their purpose and invigorated by the organic, inspiring spaces. I want to instill passion in those who spent time in the spaces I design. I want to design for a better world. I want to work with Gensler not only because they work on such large-scale and important projects, but because they would give me an opportunity to be part of a team as passionate as I am. As a current resident assistant with plenty of experiences with group work, I am so excited at the possibility of Gensler's teamwork-focused spirit. It is so much more challenging to design with other people, but this of course means the product will be so much better. Good design begs us to ask the toughest questions and find the hardest answers, and I believe this can only happen through collaboration. I am so grateful to be considered for this opportunity. Thank you.